Okie dokie. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, which is leveraging your technology, which in a nutshell is the surefire way to streamline your processes and increase their efficiency. The goal for any business owner is to achieve time, mind, and financial freedom. So with a bit of a systemized business, you ensure it can operate with a heavy reliance on you as its owners. So I'm Jenny Worrell, and I work in client services at BWP Inspire. And I'm going to be your moderator today for the webinar for Inspire in conjunction with the Small Business Freedom Revolution, which, as always, means I keep a very watchful eye on Mr. Price and also keep my eye on all things tech, which includes looking after our question and answer session. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the webinar environment, these are the Zoom settings. Let's take a closer look at the webinar controls. Select audio settings to select and test your speakers. Submit the questions via the question and answer button. And remember, as always, just please ask questions if you've got them. You can submit them at any point throughout the webinar, as only me and Steve can see them at that point. So we collate them all and we answer them at the end of the webinar. Click leave meeting if you need to leave at any time. Hokai Wanu, I think that's everything you need to know about Zoom. I'll try and grab Steve off that seesaw we use for the marketing email and it can get started. Are you there, Steve?
Jenny, hi, you okay?
Hi, yeah, all right.
Very good, thank you. You always have me laughing just before I'm about to do the presentation. So thank you once again. But no, brilliant, thank you. And thank you to everybody for coming this morning, and giving us your time as always. Today's talking about saving time, and we know just by coming to this, you're showing a clear indication that you're, committed to wanting to be more efficient. And the first thing you do is giving us your time to do this, so it's really appreciated. Jenny's already said it, but make those notes. Every webinar we do, we try to give you ideas or thoughts or plans to implement. And this afternoon's I've got it in my head, it's this afternoon, haven't I? This morning's is no different. So make some notes and take this value into your business, not just an interesting point of reference in your own mind. Okay, that's how you're going to get most out of this next session. So as per usual, I'm going to start with a quote. We always try to find one. And I think this one today really does sum up quite nicely what today's session is all about. It's from Peter Drucker, and it's efficiency is doing better what is already being done. So let's just linger on that for a second. We're not going to try and ask you to do anything new. We're just going to completely think about and consider how to do things better, how to do the same things in a different way to improve your business. So there's got to be some wins there if we can get it right. So there are so many processes and systems in your business. Some of these may already be systemized and others might be manual, but by leveraging the technology available, we hope you're going to increase your efficiency and, oh so importantly, save time and stress. So just before I get stuck in, I want to throw in the usual disclaimer. These webinars that we put on, and today's is no exception, they are educational and they are general. They're general in nature, so they're no substitute for tailored advice. Every business is different, even within the same market segment, so the way you can work can be quite different to others in your industry. And please take inspiration and a head start from these talks we give, but they're not tailored advice. Okay, let's have a look what we're going to be covering then. So have you ever spent hours researching potential new technology or maybe an app? You've loaded it up, you've started working with it, only to find it's got a major process missing that you need. Or do you have two apps that you wish could talk to each other to save you time double entering or double handling? So it's likely there's always going to be an app out there that meets your needs and syncs with the other apps you use. This webinar today is going to provide you with some insights from our experiences with business processes and apps in all types of business. So we're going to kick off with a look at the key benefits of systemization, and then briefly overview what constitutes an app stack and why it's so important in your business. Then we're going to delve into a little bit of specific industry processes. So we'll cover quite a few off one by one. And then we'll run through a recommended process to help you choose and implement those apps. And finally, some resources to help you with your next steps. Okay. Right, let's get started straight away. Then what are the benefits of better systemization? Well, I reckon they're perfectly captured in what can be classed as the 3 S's. And here they are on screen. I reckon every business needs all of these 3 S's. Sustainability. That means the business can operate without heavy reliance on its owners. I can't underline that one enough. That is absolutely critical to every business. Scalability. Now that means the systems and procedures that are in place will allow the business to grow without the wheels falling off. So let me ask you, how do you think your business would cope if your turnover doubled? Are those processes ready for it? And saleability, well, that's as you might expect. That's the business needs to be attractive for a future buyer. So if you have great systems and less reliance on the owners, that increases the value of your business. I do say this, I think I say it quite a lot. I say it in meetings with clients and I say it in presentations like this. Even if you do not have plans to sell your business right now or in the near future, you should still be building your business in a model as if it is, because you increase the value of your business. Now, of course, there are many other benefits of systemization. We can talk about efficiency, consistency. We can talk about quality, maybe the ease of training, cost savings. But in reality, all of those are things that fit into these 3 main areas, these 3 S's. So we often refer to the technology systems. We often use the phrase, the app stack. I'm sure that's a phrase you've heard of. And this is what we're talking about today. How to enhance your 3 S's using technology, or let's be dead specific, your app stack. So, okay, I'd like to put a frame of reference around what we're going to cover in today's webinar. So what are the 4 components of your app stack? Let's work through them. So firstly, you've got your existing apps, pre-built or custom-built systems, and even all those glorious spreadsheets with all the glorious complex formulas, the tables and interconnectivity. So basically all the software in the business. Secondly, how the information is passed between these systems, that's also part of the stack. Integration saves you time, and it also reduces errors as it avoids the need for any double entry. So for example, does your website, does the contact us page on your website, does it generate a client in your CRM system? Do proposals or quotes flow directly through to invoicing and even to job management? How do you reconcile online credit card payments? These are all examples of integration. And it's an important point. Most apps will tell you who they integrate with, but perhaps not so much detail of how they integrate. So for example, if you've got a point of sale system in a retail outlet, does it send individual transactions or does it send a daily lump sum to your accounting system? Can your system handle retainer invoicing? Now here at Inspire, most of the clients we work with use Xero for their accounting. Xero is particularly strong in integrating with other systems. So for the likes of your EPOS system, and also if you use retainer or recurring invoicing, these are the conversations at Inspire we're having with clients day in, day out. The third piece of the stack puzzle is the platform the apps or the systems are run on. So do you use in-house equipment or run on an outsourced service, or are you already using the cloud? Now, if this sounds like a foreign language to you, what I'm referring to is the benefit of having access to the systems and software you use from anywhere. So for example, the ability to code your bank transactions wherever you are, or perhaps most importantly, wherever your bookkeeper is. And the final critical piece is how you back up your data and ensure customer information and business interactions are secure. So the global pandemic has taught us many things, and one of which is how important it is to keep your data safe and accessible from any location. As you all know, there's also strict privacy legislation that's been introduced around the world. I'm talking about GDPR. So you have to make sure that your technology complies with this. All right, so that's all good so far, but why is your app stack worthy of all this attention? Let's run through some of the major factors. So first of all, systems and processes are essential for growth. So as your business grows, bottlenecks can start to appear. It's the technology and the improved systems that can help reduce these bottlenecks. If we look at high growth businesses, they must have systems in place to handle the growth predicted in the marketing plans. So for example, the increase in customers, projects or sales volumes. Manual systems will come to a point where they just cannot cut the mustard. Next, your technology stack has a direct impact on profitability. A bad app stack can reduce your profitability by perhaps costing you sales because maybe you don't have a sales process or you've got inaccurate costings, or perhaps by increasing your costs. And that can come through wasted time or tasks being done in the wrong order, maybe the inability to manage, you know, a lack of process, or maybe double entry on everything. Good data is critical to make good business decisions. Now, this is something you should all be fundamentally aware of. Your systems need to provide you with accurate and timely data so you can make good business decisions. So for instance, like whether projects are profitable or if a specific product is actually making you any money. The more up-to-date and accurate this data is, the better decisions as a business owner you're going to be able to make. Your technology stack can help increase team efficiency and customer satisfaction. Having documented processes and systems is essential to ensure your business is efficient. Also to ensure you have a happy team environment and happy customers. So if I look in our industry, the accounting sector, our app stack plays a major role in our ability to attract the right staff. Is that the same for you? And finally, technology provides a greater ability to work. So the right tools will help you and your team work where and when they need to be. On site, remotely, in the office, wherever it's taking place. Let's take a look at the productivity pyramid. This shows how we can get better leverage from our business. So this what I'm talking about now is all about that old adage, working smarter, not harder. And I reckon the model I'm showing you here on this screen is absolute gold dust, in my opinion. I would really encourage you to use this in how you grow your own business. Let's have a look at this step by step. Step one of the pyramid at the bottom is about getting better at what you're doing. So let's talk about undertaking training, studying, continuing CPD, professional development, etc. Getting better at utilizing the technology you already have in your business. That's what's key at this stage. And as we grow up the pyramid to stage 2, that's all about increasing the number of people doing the work in your business. So maybe now we're employing people or we're contracting new people to help you free up more time to move further up the pyramid. But remember, your team need to know how to use the existing technology and systems already in place. So step 3 then is to invest in better systems to increase the efficiency. So for example, systems to automate booking appointments or providing reminders to customers or creating invoices as soon as your quotes have been accepted. And this stage now is what we're really focusing on today, the technology you could adopt to increase efficiency. But first, don't just get to this stage by shortcut. First, everyone on the team must already be using your existing systems and technology well, so they can be involved in finding those better ways of working. Now, steps 4 and 5 are where things start to get really clever and where the smarter firms can create a gap on their competition. So step 4 is to invent your own systems or technology which suit your business. This could be improving the way your technology integrates. So for example, you might already have Xero, but you want to integrate it with a time management or maybe a stock management solution. So you're effectively inventing the way you use those systems to talk to each other in a way that gives you the information you need in the most efficient and accurate way. And step 5 is where the innovation comes in, where you receive the highest possible return because of the lowest time investment. At this stage, you might even consider throwing out a number of the systems you're currently using in favor of the one that avoids the need for complex integrations. So an example might be to invest in a more expensive technology solution that gives you a better return. And sometimes it can involve designing your own bespoke systems using development teams. So, okay, this can be expensive, but there are very attractive tax breaks in such research and development projects. And if this is something that you may be considering, please talk to us first here at Inspire, because we might be able to save you a lot of money. So that's the productivity pyramid there. So now you know you need an app stack. How do you choose the right apps for your business? So working out where to start can be difficult. There are so many apps with so many different functions. Deciding what to try first can be overwhelming. Consider what issues you're facing in your business. Do you currently have a system, process, or technology which is being underutilized and could resolve the issue if it was being used to the best of its capability? Now, for some issues, perhaps training is what's needed, not new technology at all. When you've prioritized the issues in your business, which you don't currently have a solution for, it's time to undertake research on the most suitable technology. Finding out what apps are available, reviewing them and comparing them, it can suck up hours of your time. And obviously that could be better spent growing your business or looking after your customers. I mean, just as an example, Xero alone has 800 compatible partner apps in their marketplace. So how do you make sure the apps you choose deliver the functionality you need? Sometimes, well, a lot of the time, it's harder to find out what an app doesn't do than what it does do. And just when you think you might have found the right app, then a new app might appear in the marketplace, which could be even better. So available apps are changing daily. There's new apps coming out, new functionality, buyouts are happening in the marketplace. Staying up to date with all these changes can be time consuming, but it does need to happen regularly to ensure you stay ahead of the competition and keep improving in your business. Another note to consider is working directly with an app supplier. Now that in itself can carry risk, as their whole drive is to sell you their product, not necessarily to find the best products for your needs. So what are some of the systems or processes in your business that could be systemized with an app or technology? So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at some systems in different industries. Let's have a look at the next few slides, which will help you see that there is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Careful planning is essential, as opposed to jumping on the bandwagon of the shiny new latest app on the market that you're hearing all about on social media. It simply might not be the right one for you. So as we go through the next few slides, I really want to encourage you to ask questions as we might tap into your industry. And then we'll save them for the end, and we can answer those specifically when we get to the end between Jenny and I. Let's start off then with the hospitality industry, and some of the typical processes and needs of a hospitality business may include, first and foremost, what point of sale system, these are referred to as EPOS systems. Which one are you using? How does it connect into your accounting system, and does it fully reconcile? Does the business take online bookings as well as phone bookings? Do you confirm bookings back to the customer? You've all had such an experience, even if you're not in the hospitality industry. The technology allows for a very efficient booking service. What about employee scheduling, timekeeping and payroll? Do you process vouchers? How do you track these? Are they giveaways or purchase vouchers? Are you running a loyalty program? Need to keep track of a record of spend? And do you provide discounts for that loyalty? Are you marketing to customers or prospecting for new business? Do you keep email addresses and send notices or incentives or rewards? Do you track where leads and bookings come from? What is your marketing plan and what systems or processes do you need to support this? So anyone who is a member of the Small Business Freedom Revolution online community, that's my Facebook group, will know I posted an article about having a customer database quite recently. And the point of that was to express just how vital a CRM, a customer relationship management system, is to do any of these things. Do you run multiple outlets or a side business like a food truck? How do you keep revenue and expenses separate for reporting? What information do you need to make the good business decisions? So for example, perhaps your daily, weekly or monthly costing analysis, taking a look at gross profit, headcount versus revenue, bar versus restaurant, etc., etc. The list is almost endless in this particular industry, as you'll know if it's where you're from. Let's move on and take a look at the retail or perhaps the wholesale sector. So some of the typical processes and needs of these businesses, these may include what channels are you selling through? We can talk about online, retail, business to business, perhaps even pop-up retail outlets. Do you manufacture products from raw materials or from sub-products? How do you purchase from suppliers? How do you forecast demand to calculate when and how much to order? How many products do you sell? Do you drop ship or run your own warehouse to keep stock? Do you trade internationally? Where is the source of truth for stock on hand for multiple channels? Do you have product variants? Holding the right amount of stock is essential for your cash flow control. Again, this is something I raised in the Small Business Freedom Revolution recently. You can only do this with the right stock control system. Are the products barcoded for scanning? How is shipping integrated? Once again, where is your customer database? How do you market to them? How do you track sales? And how do you apply loyalty discounts if that's what you do? How will your business run if you lose a terminal or printer? Do you carry spares or have a service contract with the EPOS supplier? Again, a myriad of points and specific issues to consider in that sector. What about building construction? Some of the typical processes in this sector might include, well, quoting is always a major process. Making up the plans, quantity surveying, maintaining supplier price lists, the rates of labour, and there are still a large number of businesses that use a well-tested spreadsheet to help keep all of this process together. Are your quotes then automated into a job or even a project with automated billing? How do you manage project scheduling and staff availability when making commitments to customers? How do the staff enter their timesheets and any additional purchases that they make? Do you capture photos or videos on site? So this can be really helpful, relaying instructions to the team, or even having discussions with the customer, or reporting issues back to the suppliers. How are variations managed? Can you vary your quotes on site and make sure you get customer sign-off? How do you record health and safety reporting? And how do you handle retentions or even the deposits so you can predict future cash flow accurately? If we look at a slightly related sector, if we go and turn towards tradies or the services, we can start to look at some of their needs. Job management is much different to project management. Again, quoting systems or online booking systems and processes are needed. So how do you schedule that work? How do you monitor for completion and deal with any delays or variations? How do you track and make sure that you get paid for every job? Do you need on-site billing and payment facilities on a mobile device? And if so, what are you going to use? So some apps may only work on iOS or Android and maybe not both. So how does this integrate with your accounting system when you get back, when you want the information to come back to your central account system? Do you take deposits for those jobs? What's your process for managing them? And how does the team enter their timesheet and expenses? Again, we can talk about health and safety, we can talk about photographic evidence, we can talk about GPS tracking, all manner of different needs for processes and systems. And then we'll go to have a look at the professional services. So how do you store your customer data? How do you track where leads come from against marketing spend? Do you have a sales process to convert leads to a customer? And is that automated to any degree? How are your quotes and estimates structured? And are they on an automated system with electronic acceptance and integration to your project management and invoicing system? What project or job management tools do you need, similar to previous sectors we've talked about? Can the team enter their time and expenses directly? Do you have an automated invoice system, and does it include reminders or debtor follow-ups? Now look, obviously this one is our own sector. Jenny and I are within the professional services sector. At Inspire, we like to be able to walk the talk. It's one of our core values. And so it's important that I mention that we genuinely have a system for each of these areas I've listed. A part of my own role here as MD is to keep a check over these systems to ensure they are always optimized for us. So at the current time, just to give you a window into how we deal with this, at the current time, we're currently in development of a system which will improve our ability to track leads. And we are actually going as far as building our sales funnels in this now as well. And we're also involved in a project in which we are reviewing our central workflow processes, which will include reviewing our use of the software and our supplier for the software as well. That's just a snapshot in time of two major projects we're doing behind the scenes at Inspire. So I'd like to think we're definitely practicing what we preach here. Now that's the last of the specific industries. I don't know, I hope we've tried to go broad brush on this, and hopefully we've covered all of them. Tell us perhaps your unique story or needs. We're happy to take any specific or complex issues offline for a one-to-one if you feel like we haven't touched on something that might be pertinent or specific within your industry right now. But for now, let's just move on. So we know why we need good systems and processes. Let's go through it. Efficiency, cost management, staff management, customer experience, and making good decisions. We also know it's a complex problem. Which app? Does it do everything we need? How does it integrate to our other systems, etc., etc. We can also now identify some of the unique needs of your business and how you operate through looking at each sector individually. Okay, so how do we go about implementing new technology, or perhaps the apps, and improving those processes? And that's where we're going to turn our attention to now. And we're going to do that with a process, of course. So I think there are 5 phases in the process to develop your technology or app stack. Number 1, we're going to start with a scope and a business case to identify why, who, what, etc., etc. Secondly, we start to map out all our existing business processes. Number 3, determine the options and select your app stack and integration design. Then we train, test, trial, and implement. And number 5, ever so important, is to review our success and ensure we have ongoing support. So let's look at each of these phases in more detail. So why do we scope the business case? Well, firstly, we can make sure that everyone is on the same page about the overall project, and that will help us to have clear objectives and measurements for the outcomes. Because if we define what success looks like up front, then we're going to know when we've reached success. It also clarifies why you're doing this. So what's the return on investment? What is the business case? Will completing the project save time and money? Will it make money, or is it just needed for compliance? We need to know what's the point of doing all this. Scoping also ensures everyone gets involved up front. So we're talking about users, potentially suppliers and customers, partners, maybe even your accountant might get involved. This means everyone's issues get into the melting pot right from the start, and that's going to minimize any resistance to change or any lack of take-up when we go through and implement. All the inputs, the outputs, any risks, any assumptions, specific inclusions or exclusions, anything you are not prepared to compromise on is recorded from the beginning. And finally, setting out the business case allows us to put a time frame around the project. So once we have the high level scope, then we need to put our business analysis hat on. Now, before going into practice, this is what I actually used to do. I was still classed as an accountant, but I used to do this within accounts departments in businesses. So I've worn this hat myself. We need to understand how the processes work. What happens? Who makes the decisions? Who does which bit? Where are the checkpoints? So again, this is a great chance for everyone to have their say, and also a chance to identify the current bottlenecks, any current time wastage, any lack of quality, accuracy, and that can be addressed in the next phase of the project. That's obviously what we're going to try and improve on. So as an output, all processes should be documented via a simple flowchart, but you can use, Microsoft Word, or you can put it into a video if you think that's more efficient. These processes will form the basis of the final process documentation for your business. As we talked about before, this is essential to manage staff, to train new staff, and to handle that oh so important growth. Okay, so once you've defined all your processes, then you can start looking at what apps fit. So this is the bit where a specialist can really help. Each app will have specific functions that they do or don't do, and these must be mapped against what your needs are. So are you needing job management or detailed project management? How do you link up your proposals, your invoicing, your time and your expenses, all the stock? How does each app integrate? How will it all fit together? How do you pay for the app? How does the app look and feel to you? What is the background of the developer? What is their support like? What is their ongoing development program? And does that fit what your future goals might be? You need to go through all this, and you need to demo the final shortlist. Maybe you can run a trial to test out to see if it does fit your specific needs. I'd recommend you use a prepared evaluation sheet that works for you. So we're talking about price versus the functionality versus ease of use versus using a local product versus using a user group, etc. With your most important criteria right at the front. So based on the results of this evaluation, you can then start to finally define your own app stack, work out how to train everyone, and start to implement it all. And of course, you're going to do all of that in view of the project budget. And then at that stage, you then go ahead with the implementation. So you complete any testing, any trials, or even parallel runs that you've conducted, update your process documentation or the flowcharts that you've put together, and you use these to train the team and update their job descriptions. Please, please don't ever overlook team training. The best systems in the world are still going to fail if people don't use them correctly. Rubbish in, rubbish out, etc., etc. Perform any data migration and cleansing, and then go live. You might want to do that in a phased approach or the big bang way. And once completed, like any project, you need to review what happened and measure your success against what was agreed in that original scoping and business case. Did we meet it? Are all of our specific needs catered for? Is the team happy? Are the customers happy? So we want to, at this stage, you want to take on any learnings and implement actions to resolve them or to learn from your next review. Are all the integrations and reconciliations working? Do you have checkpoints to ensure quality and accuracy at each stage? And then do you or your team maybe need any follow-up training? Finally, set a time for the next review and a mechanism to track ongoing team ideas to consider in that review. So I would say, you need to be doing this with some degree of formality, at least annually. It will also be essential for any major business decisions that affect your business structure, your processes, your volumes, and your staffing. Don't say we've gone live now and that's all that matters. We need to review where it is. And one of the main reasons for this is you've now chosen your app stack for today, but technology does not stand still, and you need to have more of a fluid approach to it rather than a static, that is it, I'm never doing that again approach. Okay, let's perhaps start to have a look at the next steps then. So as you can see, systemizing your business to increase efficiency and return is a very involved process. The benefits to be gained are potentially massive too. I mean, that's the whole point of this. So for example, if you could improve your overall efficiency and lift your return by just 1%, then if your turnover is 500k per year, then that's you've just put 5k straight through to profit. 1% puts it straight through to the bottom line. And of course, that's a basic example. I'm hoping you're going to be looking for gains of more than 1%. Likewise, what could you do if systemization freed up 5 hours of your time every week? What would your life be like then? What if you could reduce errors and mistakes using better automation? How much stress would that reduce for you? So the aim of this webinar is to help you see the benefit of taking a strategic and planned approach to systemizing your business. We want you to get the benefits of better return, greater efficiency, and reduced risk of errors. So if we're going to do that, what are the next steps going to be? Okay, I say every month, doing nothing is not an option. Doing what you've always done is unlikely to give you the same results as you've had in the past. Remember, I want you to have improved return, more free time, and less stress. Remember to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Planning for sustainable improvement starts with you and the leaders in your business. Make a clear plan. Don't jump at those bright, shiny new objects, those apps that have just been released. Just because everybody else is talking about them doesn't mean they're necessarily right for you. Focus on what you can do, as opposed to worrying about things that are outside of your control. And remember, we're here to support you. As your accountants, we can help you and support you through this journey as well. So how might we be able to do that? Well, I always put our service card on here. I'm trying not to be the salesman at this stage, but if we have inspired anybody here, then we do have some resources, both free and paid for, that could help you. So, the webinar, I've already said, is educational in nature. If you're going to do anything about it, you need to understand what's the right route for you. We'd love to help you make a better plan with your systemization, but I'm not here for 1 second to sell you technology or apps. To the contrary, we want you to step back and define what it is that you really want in your business from technology. So, for example, do you just want to get better at using the technology you already have? Or do you want to assess whether there are better options out there to increase your efficiency? If you think about that productivity pyramid, what level perhaps do you see yourself on? Stepping back is all about making a better plan, scoping what you really want from technology first. So in other words, that's step 1 we talked about, as opposed to jumping to step 4, which is straight into implementation. By scoping the work first, you can then start to involve the right technology experts to help you map out your processes, review or build your app stack, and then get the right implementation to achieve the right solution. So liken this to the planning stage of building a house. Work out what you want first, what your budget is, and what you're looking for, before you start talking to the builder. If you're not quite ready to commit to a paid service, there are things you can see on the slide here. So I can send you a guide which covers a lot of the content that I've talked about today. I've also got a worksheet, which is, if you like, it's a do-it-yourself app stack project worksheet. You can have that. You just need to request it in the online survey you'll go to at the end of this webinar. if you want, we can then review that, and you can start to see how our costs start to build in at this stage if you want a more enhanced support from us. So we can help you, give you a viewpoint on whether we think you've scoped your project correctly and have a reasonable plan to implement your own app stack. Or if you say, well, actually, we'd rather have more guided support from you guys over the whole process, then that's a conversation we had. And of course, as I would always say, if you're just completely unsure where to start, but you think something might be worthwhile here, then just ask us for a meeting. We're not going to charge you for that, and be more than happy to talk this through for how you think it might impact on your business. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to ask Jenny to come back into it, and I think we'll turn our cameras on as well.
Hello.
Hi, Jenny.
Hello. Cheers, Steve. Loads of content there. Real substance. And going off the questions in the chat, it's undoubtedly got a good number of you guys thinking about the technology that you currently have and what will be beneficial in the future to ensure that you run your business and it's not the other way around and your business runs you. Just as a quick note, there is a survey at the end of the webinar, so some of you may already be aware of that, and you've filled these in before. It's super quick, and it just gives us an idea of what you thought of the content and also the place to go if you want to request the resources that we've talked about. Okie dokie, I'm going to start with Hilary in our chat. We've just got a couple of comments on here, so I'll just run through the first one. Very often, there is a great solution available for these challenges. However, bespoke systems not only prove costly to develop, they do tend to cause a lot of issues. A more generic product tends to have proper support that will be responsible for updates and debugging. And there is another follow-on sort of comment onto that, which Hilary also mentions. The obvious downside to bespoke, you can't trial it without investment. But they would definitely recommend that you seek professional advice before going down the bespoke route, as this could be a costly mistake, even with tax efficiencies.
Yeah, and that's from Hilary, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I know Hilary, and I know she knows what she's talking about in this respect. Yeah, so let's just focus a little bit on that decision point, generic, off the shelf versus bespoke. You're absolutely right there, Hilary. I tried to depict this in the productivity pyramid, where the bespoke element sits at the top and is all about innovation. So innovation takes just that. It takes somebody who's prepared to think outside of the box, and it takes investment as well. Time and money both go into that. What I would say is you should always look for a generic product first, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. What would be the point? And the things that modern day app builders are able to do is shift their app in volume and therefore really reduce the cost down. So you would never just start with a blank sheet of paper and say, I'm going to build my system from scratch, because you'd want to know as part of your market research whether that functionality already exists. The bespoken option often comes where that search has not produced any results, or maybe it's produced a result but it's not quite the way you want to do it. And Hilary's exactly right here. This can be a true differentiator. This can be the difference to your firm above all your competitors, and it can really, rocket you into a different dimension. And it can also be the undoings. It can swallow cash. It can also ruin the company as well. Yeah. So you're right to call out caution, but again, it comes right back to the start of that process, Hilary, where stage one is the business case and scoping, and then I think stage 3 was market research. It might have been 2, I can't remember, but we need to do the market research. And as long as you do that right and you do it in the right way, I think you're okay on the right tracks. But thank you for pointing that out, because I do agree with you there. Great stuff. We've got Brian in the chat as well. Got questions in the questions and chat in the chat. So this is from Brian. This is great so far. The presentation has been a great value in making me stop and recognise how far we have come and excelled in our field and business, especially with the IT hub system I have had specifically built for our business purposes, tracking, monitoring progress and providing records of customer liaison, saving valuable time and money
Our Xero account system is also doing the same. However, would like to know how we can make Xero work better for us and get more from it. Also staff training to use Xero.
Okay, right. I'm going to break that down bit by bit. Let me just go back to the question preceding that, because I'm going to offset these two actually. So just to say to anybody else who's listening that Hilary is part of an IT company, and if anybody wants her contact details to maybe discuss some of the points that Hilary's raised, I'm sure Hilary wouldn't mind me handing them out, because I'm aware, you know, Hilary can give you first-hand advice on this. So let me then bring that through to Brian. And Brian, I spoke with you 2 weeks ago, possibly 3 by now, and you were telling me the success stories you've had since you've worked with a development team and implemented some specific software. And it was absolutely brilliant to see how you use words like transformed. You transformed your business and saved time, and now you want to talk about different plans. And it's a fantastic example of where where you really can not just boost your business, but when you can transform it or change it and get on to the next level. So it's a great example of where it can be achieved. And I think that project has gone on how long, Brian? At least a year, maybe 2 or 3 from its first inklings in your mind. And I know at the moment we're talking to you about the R&D tax breaks off the back of that money that you've spent as well. So yeah, so that's excellent. You then go on to talk about Xero being at the front end of your systems, as they have been for maybe 3 or 4 years now, and the benefits you saw in moving to the cloud. And I love it, the fact that you've said, how do we get more out of it? There's always more, isn't there, Brian? There's always room for more information there. And what you've done there is, again, going back to the productivity pyramid, you're attacking stage 5 in one sense, the innovation stage, but you're still making sure that you're dealing right with step 1 of how do we use our own existing software more efficiently. Well, there is some specific news I can give you on that, because we are going to be running a seminar in January, and I'm not going to steal Jenny's thunder because I think she's going to tell more about that, but part of it will be about more maybe what we might call advanced user things there as well. And of course we can always provide that on a one-to-one basis if somebody says, well, you know, I'd like to, you know, I'm getting some great usage out of it, but how do I really get this to another level? So yeah, that's part of what I've described earlier on in part of the conversation about, it's not just choosing the software, it's also ensuring that the ongoing support is in place. And when it comes to a very generic piece of software like Xero, you can speak to Xero if you want, nobody will stop you for that, but actually our experience is that genuinely we can give you much better support on it. I'm not saying we know more about the products, but we do know more about how our clients are using it, and the experience we gain from one client to another is sometimes invaluable. Brilliant.
We've just got time for one more, which is from Louise. You mentioned sales funnels earlier. I've heard about these, but not sure what they are exactly. Can you explain?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So I was talking about some of the development that we're doing. This is the project that Josh is working on, Jenny. So sales funnels, yeah. So this is a technique used in sales, and it really opens itself up when you do it digitally. And there are software apps available to help. So if you imagine the funnel, it comes down into a wide at the top and narrow. If you see your sales process as first of all going through attracting new customers, you then need to engage new customers and then hopefully propose to and sell to those new customers. If you see that as a process that is driven by a funnel there, at the top of that funnel, you want to attract your target market. So you send your message out there, your advert, your social media, whatever it might be, and you try and pitch to cover as much as your target market as you can. And some of them will listen to that, and some of them might be interested and some might not, but a certain proportion will engage. Now we've got thinner in the funnel because less will engage with you. Your job now is to drive them to the next stage where you can actually get through to propose or sell to them. And that again comes thinner and thinner. If you can sell to your entire target market, fantastic. You've got a very straight funnel. But most companies will have a funnel like this. And so you need to understand what your sales process is so that you can most effectively drive your target market through each stage to the point at which they become an actual customer. And that's described as a sales funnel. You can automate the entire thing using software like HubSpot, using software like ClickFunnels, and we're using one that we've found. We've done the research, we've taken it through these steps here, and we're using one called Go High Level. Other brands are available, I'm sure, but that was the research that we did. And the important thing about a sales funnel, because you really do start to unlock how to grow your business once you get this idea, is that the sales funnel doesn't stop at the sales meeting and the acquisition of a new client, because from that point on, you now need to be engaged entirely in customer service, making sure that your customer's happy. And of course, that customer service is your continuing sales funnel, perhaps for the resale, the upsell, the cross-sell, or whatever your business might need to do with existing clients as well. So the sales funnel itself is, I hope I've described that well. It's really for a salesman to define rather than an accountant, but that's as I understand it, and it's all about business growth. Great stuff, great stuff. Well, I think that's all the time we've got for questions, but thank you everybody for those. Loved the engagement throughout these webinars. We've been really lucky with the amount of people who have registered and attended over the last year. Can't believe it. And we hope that we have provided some great content, useful information, and of course great company. Well, going forward, however, in the new year, as Steve mentioned, we are looking to get started again with our seminars, all things going well. Our seminars were incredible. We really enjoyed them, bringing everyone together, clients and the team here at Inspire who attended as well, all in one place, all talking about the things that matter to your business. We are still in the planning processes, but I can tell you that we're looking to unlock the numbers in your business. So which essentially is all about helping business owners like you get to grips with the key magic numbers and make them work for you. So that's going to be on the 18th of January. It's a Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. onwards. So we're just sort of tagging it on to the end of the working day. And put some time into your diary. We're going to be having cracking content. There'll be nibbles and drinks and good times. It's a great way to kickstart the new year. We're going to be active as always on all of our social media platforms, but I will take the opportunity, seeing as it is the 1st of December, to wish you a wonderful, safe and happy, brilliant Christmas. Rule the Yule. Cheers, Steve. Cheers. In my mind, it's too early for Christmas. I knew you were going to get that in. I've had the elf out this morning. Brilliant. Let's find a quote to finish on. This one's from Bill Gates. So software is the magic thing whose importance only goes up over time. I'll leave you to agree or disagree with Bill Gates there. But from Jenny and myself, thank you very much. It does bring to the end our 2021 webinar schedule. And thank you very much as always. Thanks you and goodbye. Goodbye.